playing in the background, I cut open the dark-skinned purple fruit for the plum sorbet. The juice dripped from my hands as my knife sliced through. I plucked out the pits, exposing the tender, yellowish-tinged fruit inside. I placed the halves on a baking sheet, then sprinkled them with light brown sugar, wiping my hands on the tea towel I took from my shoulder. I slid them into the oven. It might have been out of place, but the liquor cabinet in the ice cream shop had all kinds of bottles inside, all opened, all tried. My Grandma Kay had been the originator of her own artisanal ice cream recipes, and the little tin box she stored them in was filled with her penciled-in editions of how to use the hard-to-freeze distilled spirits to make ice cream. I had carried on the tradition, but only after paying and getting the required licensure. Ohio lawmakers in 2017 decided ice cream with alcohol needed to be regulated. I could hear my grandmother fussing about the government wanting to put their noses in everything. I uprooted a bottle of vodka, poured it into a blender along with some lemon juice, water, sugar, and the plums after they'd cooled from being in the oven. I hummed along as the commercial mixer pureed the ingredients. Then I put them into the cooler to chill. I pulled out the basket of deep blue, plump blueberries and Greek yogurt I'd mixed together until smooth, and pour into popsicle molds. I heard a knock on the side door, the one that led from the kitchen to the alley between our building and the flower pot. I glanced up at the clock on the wall. My help was starting to arrive. I usually scheduled my employees and my mother, not an official employee, just part of the family in our family business, to come in an hour or two after I'd gotten in. I liked spending time alone in the shop making ice cream, with the quiet of the morning and the memories of my grandmother. I wiped my hands on my apron and went to unlock the door. "Morning," I said. It was Candy. Earbuds in, she had her phone in her hand and a pack on her back. One of my 2 latest hires. Young, not as enthusiastic as Wilhelmina, my other new hire, but she was always willing to help. "Hi," she said, and let out a yawn. I closed the door behind her, and she stood in the middle of the floor. She had never been in this early, and other than handing me needed ingredients out of the fridge or cooler when passing through the kitchen when I made batches in the evenings, she had never made ice cream. Wasn't so sure about how excited she was to be doing it now, especially at 6 in the morning. "Thanks for helping me out," I said. With Maisie out, I needed the extra hand. "Sure," she said, pulling out one earbud. "I don't mind." She pulled her backpack off. "How's Maisie doing?" "She's good," I said and smiled. Maisie Solomon, one of my 2 best friends, and my first employee hired outside of family, was home dealing with chicken pox. "The doctor said she's not contagious anymore, but she's covered in red spots," I said. "She says her body aches and she's itchy all over. Still best for her to stay at home for a few more days." The last part of my comment seemed to make both of us scratch. My sudden itch was at the elbow and in the ear. Candy's was on the cheek. How did she get the chicken pox anyway? She shook her head. "Even being in foster care, I got all my shots." "It's a long story," I said. Until Maisie came to Chagrin Falls to live with her grandmother, her childhood hadn't been smooth sailing. "Morning, morning," my mother swept through the door with all of her usual chipperness. She had a cloth bag in one hand and held the side door open with the other. "I present to you all of my hard work," she said, and in came Denise Swanson